My name's Jameson Ellis. And Jameson like to drink the whiskey, only I think I'm a lot more fun. So I'm actually running in Congressional District 2 against Dan Crenshaw. I'm glad that we have a friendly crowd here tonight. Actually, most crowds that I go through throughout the district are friendly. It's kind of refreshing to come here. Are we in Waxahachie or Midlothian? Two different maps say two different things. But it's great to be able to come to North Texas and see that you guys are just as fed up as we are down in Houston. So what got me into this race? May 25th, 2020. May 25th in and of itself is a very significant date for two reasons. Number one, it's my birthday. But what made it bitter in 2020 was that was the day that the George Floyd incident happened. And over the next 60 days, we saw over 500 declared riots and over 2,000 law enforcement officers that were injured in the line of duty. And what did our government leaders from the top down do? They sat on their butts. Some of them actually incited even more violence. I helped run a nonprofit called Bridge the Blue. And while we were in the middle of what we call the Blue Crew Live, I felt like I heard God tell me what's going on with BLM and Antifa, which both need to be labeled as domestic terrorist organizations. But what's going on with BLM, Antifa, and law enforcement, it's a symptom of something deeper. And I knew in that moment that I wanted to do more because I feel like what we do half the time with our nonprofits, with our organizations, we treat symptoms. And that's important. Because, if you're dealing with an addiction or you're sick, you got to treat those symptoms. It helps you get through whatever that issue is a little bit easier. But if you don't treat the root cause of that problem, then that issue is just going to keep sticking up its ugly head over and over and over again. That's what we've been seeing. So I did some research. Found out that we had 435 voting members of the House. Anybody want to take a guess, out of 435 voting members, how many actually have true conservative voting records? It's less than 40. Here in Texas, so we now have 38 districts, but we've had 36. Everybody hear the term "keep Texas red"? Hate to burst anybody's bubble, Texas ain't red, we're purple. 36 districts. Guess how many actually have true conservative representation? 3. Pretty close. 3 plus 10. Less than 13 actually have true conservative representation here in Texas. I started off in Congressional District 8 because Kevin Brady was stepping down. And then the gerrymandering, once that was done and Abbott signed the final redistricting maps, the part of Conroe that I live in wound up being switched from 8 to 2. So I'm a man of principle, and I believe that a congressman or a candidate should run to represent the district in which they live. So I had a decision to make. Do I uproot and just move into a different house in the district? Seems kind of asinine. Or do I go ahead and make the switch from Congressional District 8, running against people like Morgan Luttrell, Jonathan Houlihan, to Congressional District 2, and go up against somebody like Dan Crenshaw, who, by the way, has $4.5 million cash on hand. Most of which comes from California and New York, two of the most liberal states in the union, and Florida. Well, I decided to go ahead and make the switch. Really quick, I got to wrap this up. There's 4 things that we're aiming to do with my campaign. Number 1 is restore liberty. Liberty is something that a lot of people don't understand. It seems like we have replaced the word liberty with freedom. Freedom is an internal assurance that we have independent on what's going on. You can have freedom without having liberty. But liberty is something external. And we've lost it. We have an illusion. Anybody here seen The Matrix? The simulation? That's what we live in right now. It's a simulated liberty, but we don't have it. It's an illusion. That's why you have somebody like Dan Crenshaw. 2 seconds. Okay. Restore liberty, refund the police, make America America again, and fire Dan Crenshaw from D.C.